Remember how in my last video I told you guys I was gonna do a video. My next video was gonna be about how sin separated the male and the female soul that was originally one. This is that video. We're about to get into it. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Up you guys, so you know how in my last video I said that Genesis 1 was Adam and Eve in their spiritual state. They were in a spiritual state of oneness as the male and the female. They were in union, and so that means when God told them to be fruitful and multiply, they did as he commanded in the verses Genesis 1:27 through 31. They did as God commanded, and they was fruitful and multiplied, and they created the soul of you and I. And so that means when the original in Genesis, when we came into being, we were in a spiritual state of oneness as well with the male and the female. We were connected spiritually with the loves of our life. Oh, that's so beautiful. And I'm going to explain that. I'm going to explain it. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because it's so beautiful. I love love, you guys. It's so... So after God made Adam and Eve flesh in Genesis 2, when we get to Genesis 3, this is when sin entered. You know, and so because we are spiritual and natural beings, again, whatever happens in the natural also happens in the spiritual. And so sin disrupted the spiritual realm as well. And so it separated the male and the female souls that in Genesis 1, Adam and Eve were commanded to be fruitful and multiply. So we separated, the male and the female separated. Remember, they're one. They separated, and now they're not in union as one anymore because sin disrupted everything. I know some of you guys are like, what? How in the world is she getting this information? It doesn't say that in the Bible. No, you guys, it shows it in the Bible. And God showed me how you can see it in the Bible. He showed me the beautiful story of Jonathan and David. I love that story. It's one of my favorite stories now. And so he showed me, starting off in 1 Samuel 18:1, it says, and the soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David. And God showed me how they were separated. The souls were separated, but they came back. He knitted them back together as one. And if you read the NIV version, I believe, of the Bible, it says that Jonathan and David became one in spirit. And so that God used that story to show me how they were separated and then how they came together as one. And sin is obviously the culprit of them the souls becoming separated and then being united again. And it says that Jonathan loved David as himself. That is so beautiful. The two coming back together, being united, being knitted in true unconditional love. God made Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 different on purpose to show us the world that we cannot see, which is the spiritual realm. And so when we look at the natural, we can take notice that only a man and a woman can become one flesh. And it shows us this because in the spiritual, only the male and the female can become one in spirit. And so he's showing us with the natural what is happening spiritually. And we can see that clearly with the story of Jonathan and David, how the male and the female spiritually became one, and they became one in spirit. They became knitted. Their souls became knitted. In my last video, I talked with you a little bit about twin flames and the understanding of it, and how twin flames mean one soul in two bodies. Now, some of you may feel there's nothing in the likeness in the Bible, but I would have to disagree with you there, because in Deuteronomy 13:6, it says, if your brother, your mother's son, your son or daughter, or the wife you cherish, or the friend who is as your own soul, entice you secretly. Now let's just stop right there. When it says, when we focus in on your friend who is as your own soul, that's what the Bible describes as a twin flame. That's the definition for the Bible, to be twin flame. Now, when we look at the story of Jonathan and David, David was Jonathan's friend who was as his own soul. They had a strong love bond because Jonathan and David were one in spirit. They had the same soul because both the male and the female, again, was reunited and came back together and to be one. So they had the same soul, but they were in two separate bodies. God joins us back together like we originally were in Genesis 1. So when we look at the story of Jonathan and David, their souls being knitted together, they're going back to like how they originally were in Genesis 1 when God commanded them to be fruitful, Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply. So all of us were spiritually united as one. The male and the female were spiritually one. And so this is the definition of twin flames. Twin flames are acknowledged and taught in some other religions, but it is not taught in Christianity. And that's because it can be hard to see, but it is there. It is there. It just takes a little bit of time to see it and a little bit of time to really understand it. But it shows us this because the Bible focuses on the spiritual and the natural, but it focuses a little bit more on the spiritual because the Bible knows that our spiritual body is the one that God is coming back for. So when the male and the female are knitted back together as one, they are united in true unconditional love. And this is what the other religions teach. This is what they teach. They're united in true unconditional love. And that's why Jonathan loved David as himself. And that's why Jonathan and David both made many vows to each other of love and commitment. And if you look in the Bible at the story of David, we don't really see the Bible talk about the wives of David and how much he loved them. It only beautifully illustrates the love that he had for Jonathan and how their soul became knitted together. David was not spiritually one with his wives because he was already spiritually one with Jonathan. David was spiritually one with Jonathan. And so that's why they loved each other so much, because they were one in spirit. They were one. They were united in unconditional love. God used the story of Jonathan and David to show me how sin separated us, but how he brings us back together in true unconditional love. He brings us back together in true unconditional love. And that's because God is love, you guys. The Bible says he who abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. So Jonathan and David were knitted together in true unconditional love. They loved each other as themselves. They had that sacrificial love for each other, and that's why Jonathan did anything that he could for David, even when it cost him his life, and even when it cost him, his bond with his father and everything, his relationship with his father. And it's just beautiful. Love, you guys, is so beautiful, and it's so beautiful to see that love is a spiritual. It's the male and the female coming together as one, being united and being spiritually bonded in love, in true love. You guys, I pray that you can take some time to just understand this and to see the beauty in this. I hope I'm explaining it right, but if I'm not, I can go over it again, or whatever is needed. But it's so beautiful to see love, and see that there is a union, that a spiritual union that is happening. And and we can even see it here in the natural with a true husband and wife coming together as one. That is so beautiful, and it shows us what is happening spiritually with them and with others. How God is making them one, knitting them back together, the male and the female, them coming together as one. It's so beautiful, you guys. I love love. I'm just, oh God. It's just awesome. But I hope you could take some time and really just look at this, see if you can understand it, and just when you can, share so that other people can see the beauty of God and see how He designed love to be a beautiful human experience, and how companionship is what God designed for us all. We are all worthy of love and companionship. God doesn't want any of us to be alone. He wants us to be with Him, and He wants us to have true love and companionship. That's how it was in the beginning. That's how He designed it, and that's how He created it. All right, I love you guys. See you soon.